In mid-December, I witnessed the Sheriff's Air Rescue 5 helicopter rescue a hiker who had gotten stranded on the eastern ridge above Eaton Canyon. I heard a third-hand account that he basically started a normal hike and he went up the normal route up the canyon floor to the first falls in Eaton Canyon. Then apparently he turned around and came back roughly half a mile and followed a quote unquote trail. Well, there are no trails leading up there, but there is kind of a wash in the side canyon. So I was curious to follow it up and see how steep it was firsthand. This is where the towers are on the map. And here's the social media image showing the guy getting picked off. Here's an image I took from just inside the Pinecrest gate. Zooming in, I can get kind of a rough match to the social media image. Here we are in Google Earth again. I figured I could get a better match by positioning the camera as close as I could to the angle that we see in the social media image. And then with a bit of careful cropping, we can see if we can get a pretty close match to the social media image. Here's a crossfade. The blue squiggle is my GPX track superimposed on Google Earth. We'll look more at that in a bit. For whatever reason, the third tower, the north tower, doesn't show up in the 3D model. The I-shaped structure in the middle of this image is the heliport up on Henniger Flats, and that's about a quarter mile up the ridgeline from where he was picked off. So with all that as background, let's take a look at what I actually found. The blue line in this model is based on the GPX file that I exported from my tracker. Here's the first falls in Google Earth and as seen from the drone. To the left of the falls above, you can see a bit of a trail which leads onto this knife ridge, aptly referred to by locals as acrophobia. This is the only route up to the top of the falls, and it gets a lot of people stranded and or injured or killed. But our subject for today is a different location, reportedly about a half mile back from the falls, which we presume is this little side canyon. Examined from above, we can see there's a big scree field about halfway up this side canyon, and then to the right of that, brush and trees which indicate maybe a safe enough route to scramble up. So starting at the bottom, where the apparent use trail is, there's clearly a lot of people that go in there and use it for partying and whatnot. At the bottom of the scree field, I found a good spot to stop and launch from to take some aerial photography. After some scrambling on all fours, I got near the top of the scree field and found another good flat spot. Once you reach the scree, there's really no trail. It's a scramble. From my observation on the ground, the use trail peters out right at the start of the scree, but looking at this image, there's possibly another little option there, which I'll talk about later. This flat spot is as far as I scrambled up the scree. At this point, I started to move right. I followed a little draw where the brush and the trees were growing to the right to get up onto the ridgeline. At the bottom of the draw was the last piece of litter that I found, suggesting partiers or casual hikers, beer cans and whatnot. There was an old guy wire, probably from a telephone pole, hanging down from a tree at the beginning of the draw. Once I got up past this guy wire, it was pretty easy going up onto the ridgeline. Here's a shot that I made back in the summertime from the other side of Eaton Canyon. Our side canyon is in the center there, and then once you get up onto the ridge, you can see the power towers and the kind of gently sloping kind of meadow area. There's enough trees and bushes and enough of a run out that you could probably get back down this area without rappelling, but I wouldn't want to. Between this tantalizing little animal trail along the ridgeline right at the top and after the fact examining the Google Earth model, which I'll show you right here, take a look where I kind of did a little exploratory move right where the scree starts. There seems to be possibly a trail. Anyway, I wonder if I missed something on the right there. Here I sketched a line following what could be a trail, despite the fact that I didn't see any evidence of this when I was there in person. This is not a route that I took, but maybe worth going back and checking it out again some other day. As soon as I got up on the ridge, there were animal trails everywhere, and it was easy to get around in this meadow area. Here's a panorama I shot from the meadow looking west. The guy who got stuck up here probably was pushing daylight and realized he wasn't going to go back the way he came once he was up in this meadow. If he had more time and he knew where he was going, it would actually be really easy to get up on the ridge behind the power towers and actually walk your way up to the heliport. On the other hand, if he bushwhacked around and was kind of hoping he could find a way down to the road, I could see him easily getting discouraged. I really also didn't see any obvious vantage point where you could see somebody on the bridge, for example. You can see across the way, the Altadena Crest Trail, but seeing down into the canyon, I didn't find it. The south tower had this little plaque embedded on one of the legs. It's about 1.5 inches by 4. From the back of the towers up to the heliport, it's probably about a quarter mile up an easy ridgeline. That'd be no problem, up or down. Bottom line, I didn't find any new tempting trail. Unless you have rappelling equipment, I didn't find any easy way to get yourself up and down from the canyon floor. Only real approach is from above at the heliport and back up that way again.